Let me ask you a question right from the start. Have you ever wondered why, despite all your efforts, you're still alone? Why, when you've tried to be vulnerable, open yourself up to others, or even engage in relationships, it just never seems to work out? What if I told you that this isolation, this time without a partner, is not a punishment, but a profound opportunity? What if I told you that you're isolated for a reason, and that reason is not just to prepare you for fleeting companionship, but for something much deeper? You see, we often think of solitude as a kind of punishment from life. Society tells us that being single, being isolated, is somehow a failure. But what if this isolation is actually an invitation to go deeper into yourself? I know it sounds counterintuitive, but sometimes the universe removes distractions, including relationships, so that you can focus on the one relationship that truly matters, the one with yourself. We are conditioned to seek relationships as a way to complete ourselves, to fill the voids we feel inside. But the truth is, no other person can fill those voids. No relationship is going to fix the parts of you that feel broken. If you're in a place of isolation right now, it's because life is giving you the space to heal those parts of yourself that need attention. The isolation is not a curse, it's a gift. It's as if the universe is saying, I'm giving you back to yourself.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Think about it. When you're in a relationship, how often do you lose touch with who you really are? So we start to shape ourselves to fit the other person's needs, to meet their expectations. But when you're alone, you're free to explore who you are without the influence of anyone else. So as this is time for you to ask the deep questions: who am I? What do I want? What do I fear? So what are the patterns I keep repeating in relationships? Isolation gives you the opportunity to recognize your patterns, the ways in which you may have sought love, validation, or approval from others. It allows you to see the roles you've played in your past relationships, and more importantly, to step out of those roles. You're being given the time to break free from the cycles that have trapped you in relationships that weren't truly aligned with who you are at your core. But here's the thing, isolation is uncomfortable. It's in this discomfort that we are forced to grow. It's in this loneliness that we are confronted with the parts of ourselves we've been avoiding. The silence forces us to face our deepest fears, our insecurities, and our doubts. And sometimes that's terrifying. But it's also where the greatest transformation happens. So, I want to ask you, what are you avoiding within yourself? What are the parts of yourself that you've been running from, hoping that someone else would come along and fix? This isolation is your opportunity to confront those parts, to heal them, and to become whole within yourself. When we're constantly seeking companionship, we often miss the opportunity to develop a relationship with ourselves. And here's the truth. Until you have that relationship with yourself, any relationship you enter will be a reflection of your unhealed wounds. You will attract partners who mirror back to you the areas of yourself that you haven't yet integrated. So, the reason you're without a partner right now is because you're being given the chance to do that deep inner work, to heal, so that when you do enter a relationship, it will be one of mutual growth and support, rather than one of codependency and unmet expectations. This period of isolation is sacred. It's a time for you to reconnect with your soul, to understand who you are at a deeper level. It's a time for you to cultivate self-love, not the superficial kind, but the kind that comes from truly accepting yourself, flaws and all. When you can love yourself in your isolation, when you can find peace and joy in your own company, that's when you're truly ready for a relationship. Let me ask you, can you sit with yourself in silence without feeling the need to distract yourself with external validation? Can you love yourself in your loneliness without seeking someone else to make you feel worthy? These are the questions you need to ask yourself during this time of isolation. Now that we've explored the idea that your isolation is a gift, let's go deeper. Why are you alone? What is the universe trying to teach you through this period of solitude? You see, we often think that being alone is a sign that something is wrong with us. We wonder, why can't I find someone? What's wrong with me? But what if being alone is exactly what's right for you right now? When you're alone, you're not distracted by the noise of other people's expectations. You're not consumed by the dramas and emotional roller coasters that often come with relationships. You're free to focus entirely on your own growth and evolution. And that's exactly what this time is for your transformation. You're being given the space to evolve into the person you're meant to be. Relationships often reflect back to us the parts of ourselves that need healing, but they can also keep us stuck in old patterns. Or when you're alone, you have the opportunity to break free from those patterns and to redefine yourself on your own terms. But transformation isn't easy. It requires you to confront the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding. It requires you to face your fears, your insecurities, your doubts. And that's why isolation can feel so painful. It's forcing you to do the work that you've been avoiding. So, let me ask you, what is this time of isolation asking you to confront? What are the lessons that you need to learn before you can move forward into a healthy, fulfilling relationship? These are the questions that will guide your transformation. One of the most profound lessons that isolation can teach us is that we are enough as we are. We don't need someone else to complete us, to make us feel whole. We are already whole. But in order to truly believe that, we need to experience it for ourselves. We need to spend time alone to cultivate a deep, loving relationship with ourselves so that we can understand that our worth doesn't come from someone else's approval or love. It comes from within. This is your opportunity to fall in love with yourself, to discover the parts of yourself that you've been neglecting and to nurture them. To realize that you don't need someone else to make you feel worthy or valuable. You are worthy simply because you exist. So often, we enter relationships because we believe that another person will make us happy. But the truth is, happiness doesn't come from a relationship. It comes from within. And until you learn to find happiness within yourself, no relationship will ever be truly fulfilling. This time of isolation is teaching you that lesson. It's showing you that you are enough, just as you are. That you don't need someone else to make you feel complete. And once you truly understand that, you'll be ready for a relationship that is based on mutual growth, love, and respect, rather than one that is based on need or dependency. Let me ask you again, what is this time of isolation teaching you about yourself? What are the lessons that you need to learn before you can move forward? Now that we've explored why you're alone and what this period of isolation is teaching you, let's dive into the hidden power that lies within your solitude. You see, solitude is not just a time for reflection and healing. It's a time for empowerment. It's a time for you to reclaim your power, to realize that you are the creator of your own life. When we're in relationships, it's easy to give away our power. We start to rely on the other person to make us feel happy, to make us feel loved, to make us feel worthy. But in doing so, we give away our power. We become dependent on someone else for our sense of well-being. And that's why this time of solitude is so important. It's giving you the opportunity to take back your power. You don't need someone else to make you feel happy or loved. You have the power to create those feelings within yourself. And when you realize that, you become unstoppable. You become the creator of your own reality. Let me ask you, are you ready to take back your power? Are you ready to stop relying on others to make you feel happy or loved, and to start creating those feelings within yourself? This is the hidden power of your solitude. It's teaching you that you are the source of your own happiness, your own love, your own worth. And once you realize that, you'll no longer need to seek those things from someone else. You'll be able to enter a relationship from a place of empowerment rather than from a place of need. But here's the thing. Reclaiming your power requires you to take responsibility for your own emotions, your own thoughts, your own life. It requires you to stop blaming others for your unhappiness and to start taking control of your own destiny. This time of isolation is giving you the space to do that. It's giving you the opportunity to realize that you are the creator of your own life and that you have the power to create the life and the relationships that you want. So, let me ask you, are you ready to step into your power? Are you ready to stop waiting for someone else to make you happy and to start creating your own happiness? The next chapter of your life is waiting for you, but here's the truth. You can only enter it if you've truly understood and embraced the deeper lessons of this time of solitude. You're not going to be alone forever, unless of course you choose to remain stuck in the same patterns that brought you here in the first place, Lord. But if you've used this time wisely, if you've done the inner work, if you faced the discomfort of isolation head-on, then the relationships you attract moving forward will be fundamentally different. They won't be based on need, desperation, or the desire to fill a void. Instead, they will emerge from a place of mutual respect, love, and growth. But here's the key. You can only move forward if you've truly embraced this solitude for what it is, a profound opportunity for transformation. Many people rush out of isolation the moment they get the chance, jumping into the next relationship without having healed their wounds. And then, inevitably, they find themselves repeating the same cycles, attracting the same kinds of partners, and wondering why nothing has changed. They haven't learned the lesson yet. They're still looking for someone outside of themselves to fix what's broken within. So, let me ask you, have you done the work? Have you faced the parts of yourself that needed healing during this time of isolation? Or are you still waiting for someone else to come along and fill those gaps for you? The truth is, no one else can do that work for you. No relationship can fix what you haven't yet addressed within yourself. This period of isolation has been your time to confront those parts of you that have been calling out for attention, your insecurities, your fears, your self-doubt. And it's only by doing the hard work of healing those parts that you can step into your next relationship from a place of wholeness rather than need. This period has also been about reclaiming your power. When you're in a relationship, it's easy to give your power away. You start to rely on your partner for emotional validation, for love, for a sense of worth. But in doing so, you become dependent on them, and that's when things get shaky. Relationships become fragile when they are built on dependency rather than on mutual strength. The time you've spent in solitude has been about reclaiming that power, about learning that you are the source of your own happiness, your own love, your own worth. You don't need someone else to make you feel complete. You are already whole. So, before you move forward into the next chapter of your life, take a moment to reflect deeply. Well, have you embraced this time of solitude, or are you still fighting it? Have you used it to heal, to grow, to become more self-aware? Or are you still hoping that the next relationship will be the one that magically takes away all your pain? Because if that's what you're expecting, you'll find yourself disappointed again and again. No relationship can do the work for you. The love you seek from others must first be cultivated within yourself. The relationships you will attract in the future will be a direct reflection of the work you've done during this time of isolation. If you've spent this time healing, growing, and becoming more in tune with who you truly are, then you'll find yourself attracting partners who are on that same path, partners who are also whole, who don't need you to complete them, but who are ready to walk alongside you in mutual growth and support. So, let me ask you one more time, have you done the work? Have you learned to love yourself in your aloneness? Have you reclaimed your power and realized that you are the creator of your own happiness? This is your moment. This is your opportunity to take everything you've learned during this time of isolation and step into your next chapter with clarity, strength, and love. But it can only happen if you've embraced the lessons of this time and allowed them to transform you from the inside out.